fans, and welcome back to another Inside edition of Voice of Victory Lane with Kip Thompson. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I did because you know where I was. I was at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, and we had a great show this Saturday night. I-95 Late Model Challenge was in the house. We had the 602 Late Model, 602 Sport Mod, Street Stocks, and we also had the Legend Cars division. Legend Cars really put on a great show. Chad Groves picks up the win in feature number one, did a phenomenal job in driving that car. And, you know, we had a lot of legend cars that are making their way to the Fayetteville Motor Speedway in preparation for the INEX Nationals that's going to be held inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Tony Porter picks up win number the second feature win. He won the second feature Saturday night, did a phenomenal job. Then we rolled right on into the I-95 Late Model Challenge. Willie Milliken set fast time, led 28 laps of a 30-lap feature, cuts down a tire. Dustin Mitchell would take the lead after that and go ahead for the win there. Also in the Street Stock division, a really great race between Michael Butler, Ron Pope, and Mike Manus. You could not throw a blanket over those three for the whole entire race, and Michael Butler, driver number 48, comes out with the win. And then we go into the nightcapper. Tonight, we're going to really talk about the 602 crate late models at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, a class that has been just really growing, and it's really becoming kind of like a star attraction at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, because weekend before last, I think we had 32 or 33. We had 29 this week. But tonight, our show guest, we've got two guests on the show tonight. But before we go any further, we always want to open up our show and thank our show sponsors, Tony and Bobby Jackson with Raging Rooster Catering. 30 people or more, they'll come and set up at your place, do a great job for you. Be sure to visit them on their Facebook page, Raging Rooster Catering. You can find their email address, their phone number. These guys will do a phenomenal job for you. We invite you to give them a call today for your next event. And we are super excited to have them as our show sponsors. A huge thank you goes out to Tony and Bobby Jackson, Raging Rooster Catering, out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay, so we've already given you a little small race recap as to what went down this past weekend inside of Fayetteville Motor Speedway. But the night ended about as good as it could end. Tonight we have with us, we'd like to take a moment right now to welcome Zach and Chase Blackwell. Hey guys, welcome to the show. We are super excited to have you guys on tonight.
How's it going, Kip? It's good to be on here.
Oh man, we're doing good. What about Chase? He's with us, right? His microphone's on, right?
Yeah. He's over here hanging out all quiet like.
Okay. All right. So guys, let me kind of set the stage for the fans who were not at the Speedway on Saturday night, because we realize that there are a lot of fans who have access to Race Monitor, My Race Pass. Fayetteville Motor Speedway is actually gone over to My Race Pass, and there's so many people who on any given Saturday night, no matter where they are, they'd be in the beach, they'd be in the mountains, they'd be at the house, or whatever. Everybody, including myself, even when I'm at a racetrack, I'm looking on My Race Pass or Race Monitor to find out what's going on at other racetracks. So with that being said, what I'm getting at is there are so many people who watch that, and it's just the names and the numbers and qualifying times and how many laps are left. You watch that on a phone device, but you do not see the story as to what happened on the racetrack. So tonight, with this show, I've been super excited about this, to have this show all weekend long. I just knew when things ended the way it did Saturday night that this was going to be a great show, and I've been pumped up about having both Zach Blackwell, sound like somebody else getting names wrong, Zach Blackwell and Chase Blackwell. Super excited to have you guys here. We go through Friday night with practice, see both of you guys there. I actually happened to pull up, drive up to the racetrack, and then I see Zach and Timmy leaning over on the fence there in the staging lane. Well, I go up and speak, hey guys, what's going on? And, you know, we go to talking about the race or whatever. And it was either you, Zach, or your dad, Timmy. I was like, who's going to come see me in Victory Lane tomorrow night? And I think the comment was made, I think they moved it. We don't even know where it is. I think
Yeah.
we were able to capture that Saturday night. So talk about what it's like to be back in Victory Lane after a long time.
Man, it's been tough. We've been working real hard all year. Car's been really fast. I've been making little cousin over here chase me a lot, but just like he's been chasing me, I've been chasing just as much as the rest of the crowd out there. Had a couple that felt like we should have won, and just had some parts failures or crashed out or just run out of talent. But we finally figured out how to get back up there and get interviewed by you. But it felt really good, and to look up there at that scoreboard with a couple laps to go and see Chase right there behind me. I remember a long time ago when I was a kid watching my dad and Chris do it, and that's all it did was brought back a lot of those old memories from my childhood. Being able for me and Chase to do it.
Well, I know that looking at that scoreboard while you're driving, not only there's always two sides of everything. To look and see 17 and 6, okay, you're knowing that, hey, man, Chase is right behind me. If I can hold him off, either way, it's going to be a 1-2 finish here for the Blackwells. But yeah. I know you had to get sick to your stomach when lap 18 and the caution comes on.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I said it seems like every time I'm ever leading a race, a caution comes out on the white flag lap. I can go back and watch a lot of old videos of me out front, and it happens every time. It's some sort of curse I have, but I guess as long as I can get the win at the end of the night, I can handle it.
Well, I know it was a special deal, and I took some time Sunday morning yesterday and just sat back and as I was doing my race recap, and I was, matter of fact, I was sitting right here. I was sitting right here in this chair, and I was typing up, on my phone, doing the race recap. And honestly, man, I have to be man enough to tell you. I even told you, Dad. I was writing that race recap, and I began to sense my eyes filling up with water, tears a little bit, man, because so many people don't understand. We have mentioned this before. I was asked by Joseph Swan and Robert Kitchen. I was invited to be on their show sometime back, and I was a guest on their show talking about being the voice of Victory Lane. And it was asked of me if you could ever put one word to describe what it's like being in Victory Lane, what would that one word be? And the word emotion. And Saturday night, it brought it all back right in front of me again, that word emotion, because honestly, I knew because I was standing up there, but if somebody wasn't paying attention, when you pulled up to Victory Lane and then Chase brings his car up to Victory Lane, it was such a huge family celebration.
Yeah.
That if nobody knew what was going on, they didn't know who won. It was so cool because you were excited to get the win, but you were excited that Chase was behind you. Chase was excited about the win, and he was up there with you too. I mean, it was just such a bond of family and congratulating each other. And I remember, you talking about winning, and then you said, and everybody, look, my cousin finished second. How cool is that? And, talk about, what that meant to you. And then we're going to hear from Chase.
It's a whirlwind of emotions. Just like you said, we've grew up together like we're brothers. I mean, he lives 3 houses down from where I live, and I live 3 houses down from mom and dad and my grandma. I mean, so we're together 24/7. Nobody understands really how close this family is. And I'll say it. Chase is my favorite of the two brothers. And I ain't gonna lie, Chase is my favorite just because of the fact that when Chase really first started trying to race anything, we're parked right here. I'm sitting on the tailgate of my work truck right beside our RC track. That used to be our go-kart track. And me and Chase used to make 1,000 laps on this go-kart track, racing just as hard as we could go with each other back when he was a little small fella. And, like I said, for him to run second, to anybody, not even just me, for him to be doing as awesome as he's doing his first year in a race car, it just blows my mind. You know, I wouldn't expect anything less of him because he's been out there just as much as I have, and he's watched what to watch and he's watched what not to watch. So he knows, you know, he knows what to look for. And it's just, like I said, it's just amazing that we were able to do that together as a family, and to be as tight as we are. We're everybody's worst critic in this shop. And, you know, at times we all act like we're Earnhardt, but Clay's the only one that's really the Earnhardt around here and bucks his chest out. We all kind of take it and get mad, and then we get over it. But like I said, it's just awesome. It's awesome to be able to do this with my family and have my son there, my wife, and like you said, you know, all the moms and dads and everything that was involved up there. You know, that it's amazing.
Oh yeah, well, Chase, let's turn it over, man. Let's talk to you just a little bit. I have been waiting to have you on the show. Excited to do it tonight in this kind of uniform type deal with your cousin Zach, because man, I know that Saturday night was real special. But I can promise you, and I'll tell everybody that's watching, this will not be the last show that I hopefully not the last show for Zach, but I can tell you there's going to be a show coming up sooner than later for the driver, the number 6, young Chase Blackwell, who is a hot foot. He is going to be a name that you want to remember for a long, long, long time. It's a legacy of Blackwell Racing. And Chase, man, we're tickled to death to have you on the show tonight. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Well, I mean, just being around racing, you know, all my life, and we've had a few bad runs here and there for the past couple while. So being able to run second, and especially run second to Zach, it's pretty cool. You don't usually see a 1-2 finish like that. So
you don't get to see that. But you know, I was going to ask you, you would probably have a different answer from every guy in the country who straps on those seatbelts and puts that helmet on. You know what it's like, the adrenaline, man. But to be as young as you are, and man, to handle that horsepower like you do, I mean, you drive like a seasoned veteran. I mean, it's not like, you know, you got to kid me, man. This kid's 13 years old. I mean, driving a late model dirt car, and to be as smooth as you are with as little seat time as you've had. I mean, honestly, I congratulate you, brother. You every week, you're a little better every single week. And I don't mean like, okay, well, you're not spinning out or you're not running in the back. I mean, your racing car is clean. You get through the corners. And I think what you're doing, you're giving respect as to how you want to be raced. And whether it be on the high side or down on the bottom of the racetrack, man, you're really doing an awesome job.
Thank you. It's just, you know, I'm not trying to brag on any of us, but my dad and Uncle Timmy and Zach, you know, I've grown up watching them, and they're all, I'd like to say, really good. So having them help me through all of it, I think that's what's helped me a lot.
Well, I thought it was cool kind of the other night, and maybe you can look up to, you know, cousin Zach and Uncle Timmy and everything, because Melissa was up there, and I was kind of joking a little bit because, you know, I always like to check out the Blackwells because they're like the best dressed racing team in the country. Clay gets the whole GQ deal, black flat bill, black shoes, black. I mean, he's got it going on. So I noticed, Zach, when you got out of the car, I looked at Melissa and I said, maybe he's going to go dance around. He's got his white shoes on. He's going to church. And, look over on Chase because he's wearing Zach's old shoes. And I thought, well, maybe these guys are hand-me-down, and maybe the follow of the footsteps will just keep going on. So I thought that was pretty cool. But to go back to what we had in the race recap, it was so special because the interview with you, Zach, it was over from my standpoint. So you're standing up there, you and Chase, and the whole pad is surrounded by your family. I stood off to the side, and what was so special to me, and you guys were just enjoying the moment, But I got as much out of it watching this family because, as we said in the write-up, there sat two fathers and two sons. Along with those two sons, there's two moms. And for Zach Blackwell to be a new dad and had been waiting the awaited time to have that picture with his little boy, I was right there with you guys, man, to experience it. And I'm telling you, it was just absolutely awesome. Now, and I know it's got to be, all right, here we are, the Blackwell family's on the pad. I've just hugged all over my little cousin, proud of him. And you guys are just going, but let's roll back to the little guy sitting on top of the car and that long-awaited picture that you wanted to get with your son. Let's talk about that.
Oh man, that's you gonna make me tear up on here. That,
but no crying on the show now.
yeah, man,
okay.
that kid has changed my life. My dad has always told me I'd never understand how it feels until I have my own, and he was exactly right. I hate sometimes that I have my daddy's attitude because I show my tail more than I like to at that racetrack, and I'm the first to admit that. And I want to be a better person for him, but I have worked so hard and beat myself up so bad, because a lot of people don't see how much time it takes to do what we do. And, we might not race one car every weekend, but we are racing every weekend. We got 7 race cars we're racing down here, so somebody from this shop's leaving every weekend. And, we don't just come down here one night a week. We're down here 5-6 nights. And like I said, I live 3 houses down, but that still ain't close enough when you ain't at home when he goes to bed, or, Ashley picks him up from daycare and I'm already down here working and I get to see him for a little bit and then he's gone, So it's really tugged on me a lot, that I ain't able to spend a lot of time at home with him because we're chasing checkers. But to finally get it all to work out and whatever everything we've been chasing, it all finally played out like it needed to. And that's the main goal I've had, is to get a picture with him. I didn't care. I didn't care if it was in a wheelbarrow race. I just wanted a win picture with him holding a checker flag in victory lane with his daddy. That's all I wanted.
Yeah, well, I would have to say that was actually pretty neat. As I was standing there with you, it was pretty cool because as I lean over to put the microphone in front of you, I kind of put my arm around your shoulder. I feel your little boy. He grabs onto my finger, and I'm like, man, this has got to be pretty cool, man, for him, because I know what it's like, and I'm with you until you've had your own. It's a love, man, like you never can explain. And and like your dad said, hey, dads are pretty much right all the time. So make sure you tell your boy that too. Okay, so that was a really, really special moment because I remember you saying in the interview, man, I've just waited so long, just to get that picture with my little, and it's a Saturday night race, and to some people, whatever, man. That's a big deal for you. That is one photo you will keep in an album for the rest of your life. I promise you that. I promise you that. And race fans, we're so excited to have Zach and Chase Blackwell with us tonight. We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, and then we're going to jump right back into the show, and we're going to find out what is up next or what's left on the season on their schedule for 2022 for both Zach and Chase Blackwell. We're going to hear from our sponsor, Raging Rooster Catering, right here on the Racing, what is this thing? The Racing Victory Lane podcast. We'll be right back. Tonight's show is being sponsored by Raging Rooster Catering out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. We cater any event, big or small, weddings, holiday events, and festivals. Call us today, 910-237-4565. Follow us on Facebook at Raging Rooster Catering. We invite you to come get you some. All right, race fans, welcome back to the second half of Voice of Victory Lane podcast with Kip Thompson, our special guest with us tonight, Zach and Chase Blackwell. Now, for those of you who just joined us, we did not get into the in-depth of how this race ended, but we're going to do that real quick before we talk about what is left on the schedule for 2022 for Blackwell Racing, whether it be Timmy, Chris, Zach, Chase, or Clay. We're going to hear what the rest of you guys are going to do because, like Zach just said a while ago, it doesn't matter. There's a whole posse of Blackwells coming. There may be one car running, there may be 2 cars, there may be 3 cars, but the Blackwells will be at some racetrack coming to your area sometime soon, so be on the lookout. Okay, so the last feature of the night. 602 late models inside the Carolina Bull Ring of the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. It's a 20-lap feature. Zach Blackwell qualifies on the pole, Timmy Mills on the outside. Blackwell beats him to the corner and sets off for sale there. Starts to ride through lap traffic and everything, and here comes Chase Blackwell. He starts making his way up to the front. He gets up to second place, and it's almost lap traffic here. We're going to see if Zach Blackwell still got it, to drive through lap traffic, which he does. And I was like, man, this could be, as my old saying is, look out for the cookout. Here we go. Well, 18 laps in the book, the caution comes out. So here we are. Let's set the table for this. 2 laps remaining, 2-lap shootout, 2 Blackwells, and the 6. And you could feel, oh my, what's about to happen. It was phenomenal. I mean, I was on the concrete pad up there, and I'm elevated pretty much above it, but I was actually on my tiptoes. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything right here because we know that there is a checker flag in the near future for the driver, the number 6, Chase Blackwell. I can tell you, this kid just gets better every week, and we're so excited to have him on the show tonight too, along with Zach. But it was like a Blackwell Phantom reunion. It was a super cool deal to see that on Saturday night inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. And so Zach Blackwell captures the win inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway and coming home second. Little cousin, driver the number 6, it was Chase Blackwell. All right, Zach, for the remaining part of 2022, what does the schedule look like for you?
Well, unless this crowd here talks enough junk to me, I was planning on being finished with the late model Saturday night. My dad definitely picks on me. I'm a big time deer hunter. So deer season starts Saturday. So I was gonna go hunting and start that out, but we're gonna see who's gonna decide to race for the cash money. If we're gonna take both cars or just Chris, or if we take one car, I'm gonna try to slip over to Rockfish before all the features at Fayetteville happen and see if I can get me a little test and tune in over there and try to run that big race the last weekend of October over there, that 1,500 to win deal. I know that race means a lot to those guys over there with the Mod Light crowd. That Mac and Megan, they meant a lot to those boys over there. So that's a pretty big deal for that crowd. I'd like to go over there and kind of spoil it for them a little bit, but them boys has been tough over there. It ain't gonna be easy for sure. So
we were kind of looking to see. I was talking with Bill Dobler a week or so ago. I went over to Rockfish and, man, had a great time, man. That is a really super cool little racetrack. And there was some talk. Somebody said maybe Timmy might step in that mod light. Any chance of that at all?
He's worse about racing than anybody I know. I pick on him all the time. He's going to be Red Farmer. He'd probably be worse than Red Farmer because I'm going to have to probably pick him up out of his wheelchair and sit him in his race car. He's going to be that old and still racing. He did get him a seat. I will say that. I don't know if we're going to make it for that last race. He's got a lot of work to do to get it ready. And I done told him I'm going to treat him just like he treated me. I ain't doing it for him. So I don't know. We'll see. Definitely next year he'll probably drive it some, and I'm gonna try to get this one over here to get in it a little bit too. That's what I bought it for, was so they could go over there and have a little fun with me.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So all right, let's turn it back over. Let's get where we can see Chase real good. Chase. So let's talk about the remaining part of 2022. What's left on the schedule for you?
I'm not exactly sure, but I think we're gonna just finish out the points at Fayetteville, and we might go somewhere else, but I don't know. I haven't figured it all out yet.
Okay, so we know for sure we could count on seeing you back. I'm sure we're running you guys are running at the Cash Money 100 too, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So the 602 late models will be back there, and then you'll be there, and then pretty sure you guys will be running on the food coma comeback the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about between both of you guys. I know it's like a whole Blackwell clan there, and I know it's pretty much all you guys together. Let's talk about some of the guys that sponsor you, people that maybe help you on a weekly basis that allow you to be at the racetrack every Saturday night somewhere, regardless whether it's Timmy, Chris, Clay, Chase, or Zach.
Well, I'd like to give first off, we'd like to give a huge shout out to our both of our motormen. We have two of them. We have one that from Florida that helps us out amazingly. I mean, he's turned into family. Ricky with H&R Racing Engines. He supplies the motors for my car and Chase's car. And then Brad Puryear, he is like family. He's built all of our limited late model stuff and everything for years now. And it don't matter if a crate motor's in the car, whatever we are racing, Brad Puryear's at the racetrack with us. So I'd like to give a shout out to both of those men. And then Jason Fitzgerald down in Florida with Fitz Factory. He helps us out a lot as far as setups and stuff like that with both of these cars. He's, like I said, those guys, all those guys down there in Florida that help us have turned into just another second family to us down there. Of course, Blackwell Landscaping, Blackwell Construction, White Hardison, HST Shocks. He's been a huge help for us this year. That's really about it. You know, we're a lot of family sponsorship here. We got some boys that come over. My cousin, our cousin Ronnie, he comes over. He's got him a girlfriend now, so we don't see him as much. But
we like to pick on him.
Yeah, Chase picks on him worse than I do, but we really appreciate everything he does. Ethan Graff, he comes when he can, and he helps us out a lot at the racetrack. That's, like I said, that's really about it. My wife Ashley, she keeps the home fires burning just like my mom and my aunt do for chasing them and my daddy. So can't do without them, and I'm sure Chase will probably agree with me on this one. Our grandma, she's a big piece that holds this whole crowd here together. Whether she's getting food on Saturday for us, we pick on her about her food a little bit, but me and Chase and Clay, we wouldn't be nothing without our grandma. I can promise you that. So definitely want to make sure we include her into all this.
Yeah. She picked me up from school today, just like she used to pick him up from school.
Yeah.
Well, and Clay.
Yeah.
So
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And, you know, I just remember the first time having Chris on the show earlier this year when he captured his win down at Lakeview. You know, we talked about the family deal and what the Blackwells do and what they mean for the racing community just here in this area. A great family. And just Saturday night, that last picture that I snapped of you and Chase together right there in between those cars, picture perfect ending to a race night. And we'll just leave it at that. That's how I said it in the podcast, the recap that I did. And we'll say that tonight in the podcast. Man, thank you guys, man, so much for taking time to be on our show. It was just, it was a great race Saturday night, but above and beyond the racing, man, it just was a true delight to see your entire family and how you guys just embrace one another. Because a lot of families, guys, don't have that. You know what I mean? You don't see that because there'll be jealousy of something here, but man, it's not like that when it comes to the Blackwell family. I've seen it for years, known your dad, known Chris for a long time. Wonderful, great guys, good friends of mine. And just, you know, super proud of both of you guys Saturday night. Chase, keep digging, my friend. I promise you, you're going to be up there on that concrete pad with me before. It's going to be sooner than later, I can promise you that. And Zach, man, I just wish you the best of luck with whatever you do for the rest of the season, whether you're running, pitting, or whatever. And if you're out there in that running them dogs, I hope you kill a big old buck. Just don't, you had to put some more studs in the wall to hold him up.
I appreciate it, man. It means a lot, you know, to have something like this to to be able to talk about our family and, you know, our good things that we do, you know. So we appreciate you having us on here.
Oh yeah, well, and you know, I could not have not once could we have done the show without making mention of the little guy sitting on top of the roof of that car with you the other night. Man, I know that was super, super special.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, I hope we get a few more pictures like that, you know, and I already know the way he is about racing that someday I'm gonna be standing up here with him just like my old man is with me. So
yeah, well, maybe I'll have my cane up there, and then maybe I'd interview him if my batteries are still working at that time.
that's right.
Hey, well, look, one more shout out we got to give, or I just got to find. I'm gonna put this out on the spot. How about like one of your biggest fans? Does he ever come over to the shop and help? What about old Jason Royal?
Yeah, he texted me the other day. Want one of my kennel hats. I named my dog kennels Reed Tate Kennels. So I had some hats made. I always thought that was pretty neat, and I got to get him his hat. I didn't see him at the racetrack Saturday night, but yeah, that the old cousin there. He's my cousin more than he is Chase's. But
yeah. I hear him talk all the time, and Uncle Timmy this, Uncle Timmy that. he is Uncle Timmy. That's what I'm saying. That's just another guy who's not like right there in the midst, but is a part of that family, man. That's just, it's like an attraction of love and feelings and emotion for everybody. And man, it just goes a long way, and it just speaks a lot to me. And I wanted to talk to you about both things, about what it means to see a family atmosphere of being together at the racetrack and supporting one another and having love for one another. And I also want to talk about the race itself. You capturing the win and Chase finishing second. It was a great weekend. This would be a show that I'll remember for a long time, and I'll definitely it'll be a long time in my mind being on that concrete pad with the Blackwells this past Saturday night.
yes, sir. It definitely will us too. That it's one I won't never forget. If I don't ever win another one, that'll be one of the best ones I've ever done. So
that one was absolutely one for the books. It couldn't have played out on the schedule any better for the 602 Late Model Dirt Series to go and run the last race, because that's the way you top it off. That's the way you end the night on a good note with good folks, good racing, and a good time. So thank you guys for being on the show. For Zach Blackwell, for Chase Blackwell, I'm Kip Thompson, the Voice of Victory Lane podcast. We want to give a big, huge shout out and thank our sponsor, Raging Rooster Catering out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. 30 people or more. They will cater your event. And also keep in mind, we discussed it on a live video last week with Bobby Jackson, the owner of Raging Rooster Catering. Food made to order right to your pit area and delivery inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. We've got information coming up on that in other shows this week. Be looking for flyers the next time you're at the racetrack of how you can get a hold of Bobby Jackson and his crew, and you can have food made to order via text, and it'll be delivered right to your pit area inside the Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Be sure to go to YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Voice of Victory Lane podcast. Go to Facebook and like and share our Facebook page as well. We thank everybody for watching. Tomorrow night we'll be back on with a Carolina Clash Super Late Model Dirt Series race recap from this past weekend's race at the Sumter Motor Speedway with Joey Chapman. And then Wednesday night we're going to have Miss Brenda Holcomb. She'll be on the show talking about the annual kids race at the County Line Raceway coming up this Saturday night at the County Line Raceway in Elm City, North Carolina. That's going to be a big show. It always draws a huge crowd. I'm looking forward to being there myself just to go watch and support and watch my friends race, and probably do a big racing recap right up for that show too. Hey, listen, everybody have a great evening. Thanks for watching, and always be on the lookout. I could be coming to a racetrack near you, and you could be who we're talking about on our show next. I'm Kip Thompson, Voice of Victory Lane podcast. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.